Do you remember a short while ago I did a review of this thing? And you remember I was saying how ugly I thought it was, and then by the time the video ended, I fell in love with it, yes? Well, it's still kinda ugly, but I do appreciate it more. But also, in my mind, it had another equivalent in the ugliness department. I absolutely detested the Steyr AUG, or should I say the AUG. The big old fat stock and the very spindly, skinny barrel at the front. Ugh! Yuck, 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 yuck. Then after the years went by, I began to think, you know what, this looks different. It's unusual, it's not the norm. Actually, it's okay. I actually quite like it now, but I still won't buy it. Well, that was until I saw the version I'm unboxing today. What do we get in this lovely box? Well, first of all, we get a sling, which, if I'm not mistaken, yeah, maybe not. We also get a nice complimentary bag of .20 Snowwolf BBs. And we also get a little adapter so that you can mount a bipod. It comes with a bipod, look. Nice. And of course, the very famous looking mag that looks almost identical to the real one. Oh, hold on. We're not done yet. There is one of the longest. Look at the size of this thing. It is the longest one I have ever seen or owned. It goes on for days. It's an unjamming rod, but not just an unjamming rod. You can also use it to clean the barrel. Now, take a look at this beauty. Yes, I know, I went from calling it something I absolutely detested because I thought it was ugly, but with this whole extra thing going on here. Now, just to clear something up, this awesome looking front piece right here, that in my mind looks like a massive in-your-face mock suppressor, is actually marketed as a custom Phantom sniper conversion kit for your Steyr AUG. But this one came with it already installed, and there's nowhere in the paperwork or from the store where I bought it does it say it's a sniper rifle. Or maybe I'm supposed to see it as a Steyr AUG standard version without the kit, and when the kit's on it, it's a sniper rifle. Well, no thank you. To me, it will always be a Steyr AUG with a huge, in-your-face mock suppressor. Nice. So, let's go through the external features of this thing, as in the build, and then we'll go through all of the functions. Now, it goes without saying, it looks just like the real deal. Starting at the back, you have this rubberized butt pad, and you would remove this to install your battery pack, and I'll do that shortly. Now, judging by this humongous stock, I'm guessing it's got plenty of room for a battery pack, but we'll see. So, you've got your rear sling point right here, your mag release right there, and right here is where you would perform the takedown procedure. I push that in, and straight away, look, job done. So moving along, you have your integrated sight, and if we move back down, you have your fire selector switch. But not any old fire selector switch, because in that position right there, it's in safe. Pushing it halfway, where you would still see part of that selector switch on this side, and on that side allows your trigger to go halfway. So that basically gives you single shots, or if you like, semi-auto. But pushing that switch all the way in fully reveals that white dot that gives you a progressive trigger. What does that mean? Well, it means you can pull the trigger halfway and still get your single shots in, but if you pull it all the way, full auto. But I'll show you that in action a little later. And then we move to this realistic looking charging handle. But in reality, it doesn't really do much other than you pull back your charging handle, push it up into the little recess, but wait, you're thinking to yourself, where do you adjust the hop up? Well, believe it or not, as you can see on the top of the stock right there, it's got two little rubber strips. Pull this one off, and you know what? You may just decide to take off both of these rubber strips because you will be able to access the hop-up adjustment on both sides. But for the purpose of this review, I'm going to put them back on. So as we move along, just above that charging handle, you've got another sling point. And beneath your charging handle, you've got this. It's almost like a modular system. Push that down, I can twist and take out the entire barrel. And if I want to fold my foregrip up, I simply pull it down and push up. Now, because it's got a rail underneath, that enables you to attach this rail attachment right here, which also enables you to attach this bipod. But because this rail is there, it doesn't go any further than that. So it's up to you really. What's more important to you? Having a bipod on this thing or having a foregrip that can fold all the way up? Now you may have picked this up already on camera. It's not one long solid piece. You can actually see a seam right here and one right here. And guess what? There's another one right here. This all comes apart, which is also very cool. I'm not prepared to do that now, just in case I break it or do something I shouldn't do with it. I want to complete this review, and then maybe I'll throw up a couple of Insta pictures with this all taken apart, just to show you on the inside. Now, as I mentioned earlier, to get into the battery compartment, you just have to remove this rubber butt plate. Even with gloves on, even though it's on firmly, it's not that hard to get in there. And yeah, there's good enough space there for a battery pack, but I really thought there would have been more space, you know, in this big old stock here, but there's a plate stopping you from going any further, because behind there, and this is where I will take the time to show you, you see that screw at the top? You simply remove that and this plate, and you can swap the spring out. Yes, it's a quick change spring system. Plenty of room there for the fuse, the wires, the Tamiya plugs, and the battery pack. Yeah, so I've taken it off safe. I have the fire selector switch in that central position. There you go. So if I hold the trigger down, I'm still just getting my single shots. But if I push that switch all the way, I can now achieve not only semi-auto, but full auto. So half trigger pull, single shots, pull the trigger all the way, full auto. Nice. Right, let's fill it up with some BBs. It's a high cap, so there should be a door, yep, right on the top. And then once full, you wind it up. Yeah, decided to get the old bulldog out today. Right, so let's wind it up and get this show on the road. Right, let's get this back on safe. Let's get the old mag in. Again, this is what I like about bullpups. You put the mag in behind the trigger system. Now, some people don't like this system of the mag behind the trigger set, but you may be saying, what's the point of a bullpup? Well, back in the day when I did a review on this, I mentioned that the whole point of a bullpup is to make your weapon system more compact, but maintaining that barrel length. So having the mag right here means that your barrel, which will start around here, will be going all the way down to around there. Now, if the mag was in front of the trigger, your barrel would have to stop around here. So yeah, a compact weapon system that maintains the same or similar long barrel length. And that also applies to this British beauty. Now, I know some of you have seen me pop this out now and again in certain videos, but I've never reviewed it. The reason being, again, this is by Army Armament, and there was issues with the auto fire side of it. Just something not quite right whilst pulling the trigger. And some of you cheeky blighters also said, well, that really does replicate the real version. Shut it. Oh, and look, another beautiful bullpup. So ugly, it's beautiful. Wow, just wow. That sat on 349 for a good, what, 2, 3, 4 shots? Something like that. Either way, that is very consistent. Nice. Very nice. 17.8 practically makes that 18 rounds per second. And a decent FPS of 342. Ha! Right, I've got the old archery target out again. So it's simple. I'm going to try and tear a new hole right there in the center, just to give you an idea of the size of this entire target. It's not that big. You can probably tell that by the size of my hand in ratio to this. But here's a particular PS4 game. Can you see that? Can you appreciate how small that center circle is? Now I know what you're saying. How come this hasn't been opened yet? Yes, I know. I showed it to you last week on my Instagram. I got it a day or two before the official release. I've just been so busy. So, as you can see there, when I first took a shot at this target, my first one landed just there, and then the rest, including full auto, speaks for itself. Right, let's get to it. The pros and cons. And please, allow me to say, when I give you pros and cons, it's not the be-all and end-all of pros and cons. I am not the official word or authority on the pros and cons of airsoft equipment. It's just my opinion. Feel free to add yours in the comment section. So in terms of looks, I've got to give this thing a solid 10 out of 10. But what about my initial test? I'm going to give this about 7 out of 10. Why not 10 out of 10? Well, I only just got it out of the box, brand new. It needs a much longer period for a true test. But out of the box, I can't fault this. Every round left the barrel successfully. The chrono, as you saw, was pretty consistent, the most consistent out of most, if not all, of my airsoft collection. And the fact that behind here, you have a very quick change spring system, I absolutely love as much as possible that they have kept true to the design of the mag. I'm not too sure I'm too happy about the fact that this lower rail right here stops this foregrip from going up fully. And here's another little con for me. Very loose, very wiggly. But I do love the overall build. It seems to be fairly solid. Loving how the charging handle works like the real deal. Ha! But it doesn't actually put a round in the chamber. It's just for the hop up that I showed you earlier. And I really don't like high cap mags, but that's with any high cap mag, with any airsoft weapon. I'm just not a fan. I much prefer mid caps and having loads of them so I can just swap them out when they're empty during gameplay. I just don't like the whole rattling thing that goes on with high cap mags, but they are useful for continuous non-stop fire. So if you like what you see, hit that video description where I'll give you a bit more information. I'll list all the different airsoft retailers around the world, as much or as many as I can find, that will sell this, or at least sell one that's similar. Because most places don't sell it with this cool looking addition at the front right there. But yeah, And there's of course many other brands, some superior, some inferior, that make this Steyr AUG. Sorry, AUG. And I'll give you an idea of what sort of price you'd be expected to pay. Thanks for watching, and I'll catch you next time. I almost said Mike's Tech and Toys because that's my other channel. I'll catch you next time on the Airsoft Mike YouTube channel.